There are moments, rare, unexplainable moments, when everything around you seems normal on the surface, but something deep inside you begins to stir. A quiet tension, a subtle pull, a feeling you can't quite name, yet you cannot ignore. This is one of those moments. You didn't just click on this message. You didn't just happen to be here. No, this was orchestrated, timed with precision, because something in the spiritual realm has shifted and your name was called in the middle of it. Archangel Michael does not interrupt without reason. And right now, he is not whispering. He is stepping forward with urgency, with authority, with a message that carries weight. The next few hours matter more than you think. Pause for a second and be honest with yourself. Have you felt it today? That unusual heaviness? That strange sense that something is about to happen but you can't explain what? That urge to slow down, or maybe the opposite, an almost chaotic pressure pulling your attention in every direction. That is not random. That is not stress. That is not coincidence. That is awareness trying to break through the noise. Because while you've been going about your day, checking your phone, thinking about your responsibilities, replaying conversations in your mind, something else has been happening, something unseen, something deliberate. A shift has begun. Quietly. Strategically. And whether you realize it or not, you've already stepped into it. This is what most people miss. They think divine moments come with thunder, with signs in the sky, with undeniable proof. But that's not how it works. Not always. Sometimes heaven speaks in interruptions, in sudden pauses, in messages like this, ones you almost ignore but didn't. Because something in you said, wait, don't scroll past this. And voice, that hesitation, that pull, that is where this begins. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian of truth, a warrior of clarity. And when he steps in, it is not for entertainment. It is for alignment, for protection, for preparation. And right now, he is making one thing unmistakably clear. You are standing in a window of time that is about to close. Not forever, but for this moment. These next few hours are not ordinary hours. They carry weight. They carry consequence. They carry opportunity. And what you do, or don't do, within them will echo further than you expect. You may not see the full picture yet. You may not understand why this feels urgent. You may even question, is this really for me? But listen carefully, because this is where most people miss their moment. They wait for certainty. They wait for confirmation. They wait until it's obvious. But divine timing doesn't wait for comfort. It responds to awareness. And right now, awareness is knocking. You've been sensing things lately, haven't you? Moments where your intuition spoke louder than logic. Times when something felt off but you brushed it aside. Situations where you almost acted but hesitated. Those were not small moments. Those were signals. And now, those signals are converging into this very moment. This message, this warning. Because what's coming next, what's unfolding just beyond what you can see, requires you to be present. Focused. Aligned. Not distracted. Not passive. Not asleep to what's happening around you. This is not about fear. This is about readiness. This is about recognizing that something has shifted, and you are not here by accident. You were chosen to hear this because you are sensitive enough to respond. Not perfect, not flawless, but aware. And awareness is the beginning of everything. So don't rush past this. Don't treat this like just another message. Because right now, in this exact moment, something has already begun to move. and the next few hours will determine how it unfolds for you. Archangel Michael is not asking for your attention. He is commanding your awareness. And the question now is not, will anything happen? The question is, will you be ready when it does? Type "I am alert" in the comments if you feel this message stirring something inside you. Blessing code 717 is now activated around your next few hours. There is something happening right now that you cannot measure with a watch, cannot track with a calendar, and cannot explain with logic alone. Time, as you understand it, is no longer moving the way it was even a few hours ago. It feels compressed, accelerated, almost as if moments are carrying more weight than they should. And that feeling you can't quite explain. The urgency, the pressure, the quiet pull to pay attention, that is not your imagination. That is the clock in the spirit beginning to move differently around you. Archangel Michael steps forward in this moment not just as a messenger, but as a guardian of divine timing. And what he is revealing is something most people never recognize until it is too late. There are windows in life where time does not flow, it converges. Hours become gateways. Minutes become decisions. And seconds become turning points that divide what could have been from what will be. You are standing in one of those windows now. This is why the next few hours feel heavier than usual. This is why your thoughts may feel more intense, your awareness sharper, your environment always charged with something you cannot see. Because what is happening is not just external, it is spiritual synchronization. Events, decisions, opportunities, and even encounters are beginning to align in ways that will not repeat themselves in the same way again. And here is the truth most people ignore. When time collapses like this, it is not random. It is purposeful. There are moments when heaven allows time to stretch, to give space, to give room for growth, healing, and preparation. But then there are moments like this, where time tightens, where everything begins to move faster, where what would normally take days, weeks, or even months begins to unfold within hours. And those who are aware in these moments, they step into alignment. But those who are distracted, they miss it entirely. That is why this warning is not gentle. Archangel Michael is not suggesting you pay attention. He is urging you to recognize that something has already begun to accelerate. Conversations are aligning. Decisions are forming. Outcomes are shifting. And you are being placed right at the center of it, not as an observer, but as a participant. Think about your day so far. Have things felt slightly off? Have small moments felt more significant than they should? Have you noticed subtle changes in people's behavior, in your own thoughts, in the way situations are unfolding? That is not coincidence. That is convergence. Because when spiritual time collapses, everything begins to carry meaning. Every interaction, every thought, every decision becomes part of a larger movement that you may not fully see yet, but you are already inside of it. And here is where it becomes critical. When time compresses like this, hesitation becomes costly. Not because you are being punished, but because the window itself is moving. Opportunities that are meant for this moment will not wait for comfort. Clarity that is available now may not feel as clear later. And the alignment that is forming around you requires your presence, not your delay. This is why distraction is so dangerous right now. Because distraction pulls you out of the moment where everything is happening. It convinces you that this is just another day, just another set of hours, just another message you can come back to later. But later does not carry the same weight as now. Later does not hold the same alignment as this exact moment. And that is what Archangel Michael is making clear. You are not just passing through time right now. Time is passing through you. And how you respond in these next few hours will determine how this alignment settles around your life. This is not about rushing. It is not about panic. It is not about fear. It is about awareness. It is about recognizing that something rare is happening, a moment where your attention, your presence, your decisions carry amplified impact, a moment where small actions create larger shifts, a moment where being still, being focused, being intentional becomes more powerful than you realize. Because when time collapses, clarity is available, but only to those who are paying attention. And that is why you were brought here, not to observe this message casually, but to recognize that you are standing inside a turning point. Archangel Michael is not just watching the clock, he is guarding the moment. And the question is no longer whether time is moving differently. The question is whether you will move with it. Because the next few hours are not waiting for you to be ready. They are waiting for you to be aware. Type "I move in divine timing" in the comments if you receive this message. Blessing code 2222 is now surrounding your next few hours. There is something you must understand right now, and it may unsettle you at first, but it will also awaken you. The shift you are being warned about has not just started. It is already in motion. This is not a future event. This is not something waiting to happen tomorrow or later tonight. No, it has already begun, quietly, subtly, without announcement, without permission, and without needing your awareness to initiate it. And that is precisely why this message found you now, because you were not meant to remain unaware any longer. Most people expect change to be loud. They expect disruption, visible signs, obvious signals that something is different. But the most powerful shifts do not arrive with noise. They arrive in silence. They begin beneath the surface, in places you cannot see, in conversations you have not heard, in decisions that are forming without your involvement. And by the time the visible evidence appears, the shift has already taken root. That is where you are standing now. Something has already moved in your environment. Energy has shifted. Directions are being altered. Outcomes are being rearranged. And while everything may still look familiar on the outside, the foundation underneath has already begun to change. This is why things feel slightly different, even if you cannot explain it. This is why your spirit feels alert, even if your mind is still catching up. Because deep down, you sense it. Something is not the same. Archangel Michael reveals that there are movements taking place beyond your immediate perception. Alignments are forming that will soon intersect with your path. Situations that seemed stable are beginning to loosen. Conversations that were once dormant are starting to awaken. And there are people, yes, people, who are already making choices that will affect you in ways you have not yet realized. But here is what is critical. This shift does not need your awareness to continue, but your awareness determines how it affects you. You are not being informed so you can stop it. You are being informed so you can position yourself within it. Because whether you acknowledge it or not, this movement is advancing. And the difference between those who rise in moments like this and those who struggle is not strength, not intelligence, not even preparation. It is awareness. It is the ability to recognize that something has already begun and to respond accordingly before it becomes undeniable. Think carefully about the last few hours of your life. Have there been subtle changes in tone during conversations? Have you felt a pull to revisit certain thoughts or decisions? Have you sensed an unusual tension or clarity that seemed to come out of nowhere? These are not isolated experiences. These are indicators. Indicators that something beneath the surface is shifting into place. And while others may continue moving as if nothing is happening, You are being given an advantage, the chance to see before it becomes visible, to feel before it becomes obvious, to respond before it becomes urgent. But this advantage only works if you accept it. Because the greatest danger in moments like this is not the shift itself, it is the illusion that nothing is happening. That illusion causes people to delay. It causes them to dismiss their intuition. It causes them to remain passive while everything around them is actively changing. And by the time they realize what has happened, they are no longer responding to the shift. They are reacting to its consequences. That is not where you are meant to stand. Archangel Michael is making it clear. You are being pulled out of reaction and placed into awareness. You are being given the opportunity to align before adjustment becomes necessary, to move with clarity before confusion sets in, to recognize that the silence you are experiencing right now is not emptiness, it is movement without noise. There are doors that are beginning to open, but they are not yet visible. There are outcomes that are forming, but they have not yet reached the surface. There are truths that are rising, but they have not yet been spoken aloud. And all of this is happening now, not later. This is why your stillness matters. This is why your attention matters. This is why these next few hours matter. Because when the shift is silent, only the aware will recognize it. And when the moment arrives where everything becomes visible, those who were aware will already be aligned. You are not being warned about something that might happen. You are being awakened to something that already has. So do not wait for proof. Do not wait for confirmation. Do not wait until it becomes obvious. Because by then, the silent shift will no longer be silent. It will be established. And the only question that will remain is whether you moved with it or missed the moment entirely. Type ISE the shift in the comments if you are aware of what is happening. Blessing code 3333 is now activated over your awareness. As this silent shift unfolds, understand this truth: every time you choose to support this message, you are not just giving, you are sowing light into someone else's moment of awakening. The word declares, "Those who sow in tears shall reap in joy." And right now, your seed becomes a harvest in another soul who is still searching for clarity. I feel led to say this directly. I am stepping into this moment because I know this message must reach the one who is still asleep. What you release today becomes a river that carries truth further than you can see, breaking chains and lives you may never meet. This is not just support. It is alignment with a divine assignment that is moving in real time. Do not delay what your spirit is prompting you to do, because obedience in this moment carries power beyond measure. As you give through the PayPal link in the description or the QR code on your screen, heaven marks it as a prophetic act, multiplying it back into your life in ways you cannot predict. Step forward now and release your seed with intention. There are warnings, and then there are moments like this, when a warning is no longer a suggestion, no longer a gentle nudge, but a direct intervention. This is where you are now. Archangel Michael is not speaking in symbols or soft impressions in this moment. He is speaking with clarity, with authority, with a precision that cuts through confusion and distraction alike. And the message is simple, but it carries weight you cannot afford to dismiss. There is something in front of you that must not be ignored. You may not yet see it clearly. You may not yet fully understand what form it will take. But that does not reduce its importance. In fact, the lack of clarity is part of the warning itself. Because what you do not yet see is often what requires your greatest attention. And what you assume can wait is often what is most time-sensitive. Archangel Michael reveals that in moments like these, the greatest risk is not opposition, it is distraction. Not because distraction is powerful on its own, but because it pulls you away from what matters at the exact moment it matters most. It convinces you that something else deserves your focus, your energy, your time. It makes the urgent feel optional and the critical feel distant. And by the time you return your attention, the moment has already shifted. This is why the warning is direct. You are being asked to stay present, not partially aware, not casually attentive, but fully engaged with what is unfolding around you. Because something is approaching, whether it is a conversation, a decision, an opportunity, or a realization, and the way you meet it will determine its outcome. Think carefully about how easily attention drifts. One message becomes 10. One thought becomes a chain of distractions. One moment of hesitation becomes a delay that stretches longer than intended. This is how critical moments are missed, not through failure, but through absence. Not because people are incapable, but because they are unavailable when it matters. Archangel Michael is drawing your focus back with urgency because he sees what you cannot yet see. He knows what is forming just beyond your awareness. And he is making it clear that this is not the time to operate on autopilot. This is not the time to move without intention. This is not the time to assume that everything will naturally fall into place without your presence. Because it will not. There is something specific in your path right now that requires your attention. Something that may seem small at first glance. Something that may not immediately stand out as significant, but something that carries consequences beyond its appearance. And if you overlook it, dismiss it, or delay your response to it, you will not miss it entirely, but you will experience it differently than you were meant to. That is what makes this warning so important. It is not about fear. It is about alignment. It is about recognizing that certain moments are designed with intention, and they require participation, not passivity. They require awareness, not assumption. They require you to be present enough to notice what others overlook. And this is where many people falter. They expect important moments to announce themselves. They expect clarity to arrive fully formed. They expect certainty before they act. But Archangel Michael is showing you that this is not how it works. Important moments often arrive quietly. Clarity often comes in fragments. And certainty is rarely present at the beginning. It is revealed through action. So if you wait for everything to feel obvious, you will wait too long. That is why you must trust what you are sensing, even if you cannot yet explain it. That is why you must remain alert, even if nothing has fully revealed itself. That is why you must resist the pull to disengage, to postpone, to shift your focus elsewhere. Because something is coming into your awareness soon, and when it does, you will have a choice. You will either recognize it for what it is and respond with clarity, or you will hesitate, question it, and allow the moment to pass without fully stepping into it. And once that moment passes, it does not return in the same way. This is not about making a perfect decision. This is about making a conscious one. It is about refusing to let distraction dictate your actions. It is about refusing to let uncertainty paralyze your response. It is about stepping into awareness even when clarity is still unfolding. Archangel Michael is not removing your ability to choose. He is strengthening your ability to see. But you must meet that clarity halfway. You must stay grounded in the present moment. You must observe more closely. You must listen more carefully. You must trust that what feels significant likely is, even if it does not yet make sense. Because ignoring what is forming now will not stop it from unfolding. It will only remove your influence over how it unfolds in your life. And that is what you must not allow. So remain still but not passive. Remain aware but not overwhelmed. Remain ready, because what is approaching will not announce itself twice. Archangel Michael has already given the warning. Now the responsibility shifts to you. Will you recognize the moment when it arrives, or will you let it pass unnoticed? Type "I will not ignore" in the comments if you receive this warning. Lesson code 4444 is now active over your awareness and decisions. There is a truth you are being brought into now, and it is not meant to create fear within you, but awareness. Because what you are experiencing in this moment, this pressure, this urgency, this heightened sense that something matters more than usual, is not happening in isolation. There are forces at work. Quiet, strategic, intentional forces that do not announce themselves openly, but operate beneath the surface, shaping outcomes, influencing direction, and attempting to interfere with what is unfolding for you right now. This is what Archangel Michael is revealing. The next few hours are not just significant because of what is available to you, they are significant because of what is moving against you. Not in a way that is overwhelming, not in a way that is unstoppable, but in a way that is subtle enough to go unnoticed if you are not paying attention. This is the hidden battle. It does not look like conflict on the outside. It does not present itself as obvious resistance. It does not come with clear signs that something is wrong. Instead, it moves through distraction, through hesitation, through doubt, through small shifts in your focus that seem harmless in the moment but gradually pull you away from alignment. This is why so many people never realize they were in the middle of a critical moment until it has already passed. Because the battle did not appear as a battle. It appeared as normal life. Archangel Michael makes it clear that when something important is forming in your life, there is always an opposing movement attempting to distort it, delay it, or redirect it. Not because you are being singled out, but because anything of significance attracts resistance. Anything that carries potential invites interference. And anything that has the power to shift your direction will always be met with something trying to disrupt your clarity. But here is what you must understand. This opposition does not have control over your outcome. It only has influence over your attention. And that is where the battle is being fought. Not around you, but within you. In your thoughts. In your focus. In your decisions. Because if your attention can be pulled away, your awareness weakens. And when awareness weakens, alignment becomes harder to maintain. This is why you may feel an unusual pull right now. A pull to check something else. A pull to delay something important. A pull to question what you were previously certain about. These are not random impulses. They are part of the subtle pressure designed to move you off course without you realizing it. And if you follow them without awareness, they will not feel like mistakes. They will feel like choices. Reasonable, justified, explainable choices. But choices that gradually shift you away from the moment you are meant to step into. This is how the hidden battle operates. It does not force. It suggests. It nudges. It redirects. And unless you are fully present, you will not recognize the difference between your own thoughts and the influence attempting to shape them. That is why Archangel Michael is stepping in now. Not to fight the battle for you, but to expose it to you. Because once you see it, it loses its power to operate unnoticed. Once you recognize the pattern, you are no longer controlled by it. Once you become aware of the pull, you can choose not to follow it. And that is where your strength lies. Not in resisting something overwhelming, but in recognizing something subtle. Because the moment you become aware of what is trying to distract you, you regain control over your focus. And when your focus is clear, your alignment remains intact. This is what separates those who move forward in moments like this from those who fall out of sync. It is not that one group is stronger. It is that one group is aware. And awareness changes everything. So as you move through these next few hours, understand that you are not just navigating time, you are navigating influence. Every decision you make carries weight. Every moment of focus matters. Every shift in attention has consequence. And the forces moving against you are not trying to stop you completely. They are trying to misalign you just enough to change the outcome. But that only works if you remain unaware. And you are no longer unaware. You have been shown what is happening. You have been given the clarity to recognize the difference between alignment and distraction. You have been placed in a position where your awareness can guide your actions instead of your impulses. So now, the battle is no longer hidden. It is visible. And once it is visible, it is no longer in control. Archangel Michael stands as a guardian in this moment, not removing the pressure, but strengthening your ability to see through it. And that is all you need. Because clarity is stronger than confusion. Awareness is stronger than distraction. And alignment is stronger than anything trying to pull you away from it. So remain steady. Remain focused. Remain aware. Because what is moving against you cannot overcome what is already aligned for you, unless you allow it to. Type I see the battle in the comments if you understand what is being revealed. Lesson code 5555 is now active over your focus and direction. There is something you must recognize in this moment, something that Archangel Michael is bringing into sharp focus, because it is the one factor that determines whether you stay aligned or drift without realizing it. It is not strength. It is not knowledge. It is not even timing alone. It is attention. And right now, your attention is being tested in ways that are far more significant than they appear on the surface. You may think attention is a small thing, something you can shift casually, something you can divide, postpone, or reclaim later without consequence. But in moments like this, when time is compressed, when shifts are already in motion, when unseen forces are influencing direction, attention becomes the most valuable resource you have. Because wherever your attention goes, your alignment follows. And wherever your alignment shifts, your outcome begins to change. This is why distraction is not harmless right now. It is strategic. Archangel Michael reveals that in critical windows of time like this, distraction does not come as something obvious or disruptive. It comes as something reasonable, something familiar, something that feels justified in the moment. It presents itself as tasks you suddenly feel the need to complete, thoughts that demand your focus, conversations that seem urgent but are not essential. It pulls you in small directions, one after another, until your attention is no longer centered where it needs to be. And the most dangerous part is this: it does not feel like you are losing focus. It feels like you are simply living your life. This is how attention is quietly divided. You begin with awareness, but then something minor pulls you away. Then another. Then another. And before you realize it, the clarity you had at the beginning of this moment becomes distant. The urgency fades. The awareness softens. And the alignment you were stepping into begins to weaken, not because you chose to step away, but because your attention was gradually redirected. This is the test. Not a test of your ability to act, but a test of your ability to remain present. Because remaining present requires intention. It requires discipline. It requires you to recognize when your focus is being pulled and to consciously bring it back before it drifts too far. Archangel Michael is not warning you about distraction because he expects you to eliminate it completely. He is warning you because you must recognize it when it appears. You must see it for what it is, not what it pretends to be. Because once you recognize distraction as a force that shifts your alignment, you stop treating it casually. You begin to guard your attention. You begin to notice when your focus changes. You begin to question whether what you are giving your energy to is truly necessary in this moment. And this awareness changes everything. Because when your attention is guarded, your clarity remains intact. And when your clarity remains intact, your decisions are no longer influenced by impulse, but guided by awareness. This is where your power lies. Not in controlling everything around you, but in choosing where your attention rests. Because even now, in this moment, there are subtle pulls competing for your focus. Some are external. Some are internal. Some feel urgent. Some feel important. But not all of them are aligned with what matters in this window of time. And if you give your attention to everything, you lose the ability to give it fully to anything. This is why Archangel Michael is drawing your awareness back again and again. Because the moment you lose focus, you begin to move unconsciously. You begin to react instead of respond. You begin to follow momentum instead of directing it. And once that happens, you are no longer actively participating in the moment. You are being carried by it. But that is not where you are meant to be. You are meant to be aware, intentional, present in a way that allows you to see clearly what others overlook. And this requires something simple, but powerful. It requires you to pause, to slow down your reactions, to observe before you act, to ask yourself, in each moment, whether what is pulling your attention deserves it. Because not everything that demands your focus deserves your energy. And not everything that feels urgent is actually important. This is the distinction you must hold on to. Because if you can maintain your attention in the midst of all the subtle distractions, you will remain aligned with what is unfolding for you. You will see what needs to be seen. You will recognize what others miss. You will respond in ways that keep you connected to the movement that is already in progress. And that is the purpose of this test. Not to challenge you, but to refine you. To sharpen your awareness so that your attention becomes intentional instead of reactive. Because once you master where your attention goes, you begin to influence how your reality unfolds. Archangel Michael is not asking you to do more. He is asking you to be more present. And that presence will determine everything that follows. So hold your focus. Guard your attention. Remain aware of what is pulling you and why. Because in these next few hours, what you choose to focus on will shape what you step into. Type "I control my focus" in the comments if you are ready to remain present. Blessing code 6666 is now active over your attention and clarity. There comes a point in every critical window of time where awareness alone is no longer enough. A moment where everything you have felt, everything you have sensed, everything you have been warned about begins to converge into a single reality. You must decide. And that is exactly where you are standing now. This is not just a moment of observation anymore. This is a moment of decision. And what you choose in these next few hours will not remain confined to this moment. It will echo forward into what comes next. Archangel Michael reveals something that many fail to understand until it is too late. Decisions made in compressed time carry amplified consequences. Not because you are being judged, not because you are being tested unfairly, but because the alignment surrounding you is heightened. Everything is closer together. Opportunities, outcomes, and influences are all intersecting at once. And when everything converges like this, even a small decision can shift the entire direction of what follows. This is why hesitation feels heavy right now. It is not simply uncertainty. It is the weight of knowing that what you choose matters more than usual. You may feel it as a pause within you, a moment where you sense that something requires your response, but you are not entirely sure how to proceed. You may feel the urge to delay, to wait until you are more certain, to give yourself more time to think. And under normal circumstances, that would be reasonable. But this is not a normal moment. In this moment, delay is not neutral. It is a decision in itself. Because while you are waiting, the alignment around you continues to move. While you are hesitating, outcomes are still forming. While you are questioning, the moment is still advancing forward. And by the time you feel ready, the version of the opportunity that existed before may no longer be the same. This is what makes this moment so precise. Archangel Michael is not asking you to act impulsively. He is not asking you to rush without awareness. He is asking you to recognize when awareness has already been given and to respond accordingly. Because you already know more than you think you do. There is a part of you that recognizes what is being asked of you in this moment. A part of you that senses the direction you are meant to take, even if it feels unfamiliar or uncomfortable. And that inner recognition, that quiet clarity, is what you must trust. Not blindly, not recklessly, but intentionally. Because the greatest mistake you can make right now is not choosing incorrectly, is refusing to choose at all. When you avoid making a decision, you do not pause the outcome, you surrender it to whatever forces are already in motion. You allow the moment to shape itself without your input. And in doing so, you step out of alignment with what you were meant to influence. This is why Archangel Michael is bringing you to this point with such urgency. Because this is not about perfection. This is about participation. You are not being asked to predict the future. You are being asked to engage with the present. To recognize that your role in this moment is not passive, but active. That your awareness is not meant to sit still, but to guide your action. And action does not always mean something dramatic. Sometimes, it is a simple decision. A choice to move forward instead of staying still. A choice to trust what you feel instead of ignoring it. A choice to act with clarity instead of waiting for certainty. These are the decisions that shape outcomes in moments like this. Because once a decision is made, alignment follows. Direction becomes clear. Momentum begins to build, and what once felt uncertain starts to unfold with purpose. But none of that happens without the initial choice. This is the threshold you are standing on. Behind you is hesitation, delay, and uncertainty. In front of you is movement, clarity, and alignment. And the only thing separating the two is your decision. Archangel Michael is not forcing your hand. Pete is illuminating your path, but illumination without movement leads nowhere. You must take the step. You must engage with the moment. You must decide, and understand this clearly. Whatever you choose now will not end here. It will carry forward. It will influence what comes next. It will shape how the unfolding shift settles into your life. That is the weight of this moment. But it is also its power, because you are not being carried by circumstances. You are influencing them through your awareness, through your focus, and now through your decision. So do not retreat into hesitation. Do not wait for everything to feel certain. Do not allow the fear of choosing to keep you from moving forward. Because this moment was not given to you so you could stand still. It was given to you so you could step forward with awareness. Archangel Michael has brought you to the point of clarity. Now, you must move. Because what you choose now will echo. And that echo will shape everything that follows. Type "I choose" with clarity in the comments if you are ready to decide. Blessing code 7777 is now active over your decisions and direction. There is a moment, right after decision, where something shifts so quickly that it almost feels invisible. A moment where alignment is no longer theoretical, no longer something you are thinking about, but something you have stepped into. And this is what Archangel Michael is revealing now. The instant you choose to align, the atmosphere around you begins to respond. Not slowly, not eventually, but immediately. This is what most people misunderstand. They believe that alignment leads to results over time, that once they make a decision, they must wait, endure, and hope for something to change. But in moments like this, when time is compressed, when shifts are already in motion, alignment does not wait to take effect. It activates something. It releases something. It sets something into motion that was already prepared, already positioned, already waiting for your participation. This is the release of power. Not power in the sense of control, but power in the sense of flow. Because the moment you align, resistance begins to loosen. Clarity begins to increase. Movement begins to feel natural instead of forced. And what once felt uncertain begins to settle into direction. Archangel Michael shows that there are things already prepared for you in this moment. Not distant outcomes, not future possibilities, but present alignments, opportunities, realizations, and shifts that can only fully activate when you step into the right position. And that position is not complicated. It is not hidden. It is simply the result of choosing to act on the awareness you have already been given. This is why the delay has felt heavy, because the moment you were meant to step into has been waiting for your alignment. And now that you have reached this point, everything that has been building behind the scenes is ready to move forward, but only through your decision. The moment you align, something subtle but powerful begins to happen. Your perspective shifts. What once felt confusing starts to make sense. What once felt blocked begins to open. What once felt distant begins to feel closer, more accessible, more real. And this is not because the external world has suddenly changed. It is because your position within it has shifted. Alignment changes your relationship with everything around you. It allows you to see clearly what was previously obscured. It allows you to respond accurately instead of react impulsively. It allows you to move with the moment instead of against it. And this is where the release becomes undeniable. Because once alignment is established, momentum begins to build. Small actions begin to lead to larger outcomes. Simple decisions begin to open new paths. Quiet moments of clarity begin to guide you into the right place at the right time. This is not coincidence. This is flow. This is what happens when you step into alignment during a critical window. Archangel Michael makes it clear that the power being released is not something you need to force. It is something you allow. It is something that has already been set in motion, waiting for you to meet it where it is. And once you do, everything begins to connect. You begin to notice how certain things fall into place without struggle. You begin to see how certain interactions carry more meaning than expected. You begin to recognize that what once felt uncertain is now guiding you with clarity. This is the confirmation, not in the form of something dramatic, but in the form of something precise. Because when alignment is real, it does not create chaos. It creates direction. And direction is what you are stepping into now. But here is what you must hold on to. This release is not permanent without consistency. Alignment is not a single action. It is a continued choice. The same awareness that brought you to this moment must remain with you as you move forward. Because the moment you lose that awareness, you begin to drift again. Not completely, but enough to weaken the flow that has just been established. That is why Archangel Michael is not only guiding you into alignment, he is urging you to remain there, to stay present, to stay aware, to stay connected to the clarity that has just been activated. Because what is being released right now is not small. It is the beginning of a shift that will continue to unfold, but only if you remain aligned with it. And you will know it is working. Not because everything changes instantly, but because you change instantly. Your focus becomes sharper. Your decisions become clearer. Your actions become more intentional. And the path in front of you begins to reveal itself step by step. This is the power. Not overwhelming, not chaotic, but precise, steady, and undeniable. And it is available to you now, not later, not eventually, but in this exact moment. All it requires is your alignment. Type "I align" now in the comments if you are stepping into this moment. Blessing code 8888 is now active over your alignment and flow. As this power begins to flow through your alignment, understand that your action does not end with you. It extends beyond you. Every seed you release into this message becomes a light in someone else's darkness, a voice reaching a soul that hath been waiting in silence. The word speaks, "Give, and it shall be given unto you," not as a distant promise, but as a living command moving through this very moment. I feel this clearly, and I say it as one who is responding. I am stepping forward because I know this message must continue reaching those who are still searching. What you give now becomes a river that carries truth further than your eyes can see, unlocking clarity in lives you may never meet. This is not a simple act. It is a prophetic alignment with what heaven is doing right now. Do not hesitate when your spirit is prompting you, because obedience in this moment carries multiplied impact. Release your seed through the PayPal link in the description or the QR code on your screen, and let it move as a divine assignment. Step forward now and act. There is something that must be spoken clearly now, without softening it, without diluting its weight, because this is where many people lose what was meant for them, not through failure, not through opposition, but through delay. And Archangel Michael is revealing this not to create fear, but to bring you into full awareness of what is at stake if this moment is ignored. Because delay is not passive. Delay is active misalignment. It may feel harmless at first. It may feel like you are simply giving yourself more time, more space, more certainty before you act. But in a moment like this, when time is compressed, when shifts are already unfolding, delay does not preserve the opportunity. It alters it. It reshapes it. And in some cases, it removes the version of it that was meant for you in this exact window. This is the part most people never see until later. They believe they can return to the moment when they feel ready. They believe that what is available now will still be available later in the same way. But Archangel Michael makes it clear. This moment is precise. It is positioned. It is aligned in a way that cannot be replicated once it passes. And when you delay, you are not pausing the moment. You are stepping out of sync with it. You may still move forward eventually. You may still encounter opportunities. But they will not carry the same alignment, the same clarity, the same ease that was present now. They will require more effort, more correction, more time to reach what could have been accessed more directly in this window. This is the consequence. Not loss in the sense of everything being taken away, but loss in the sense of having to take a longer path to reach what was once closer. And this is why delay is so deceptive, because it does not feel like a mistake when it happens. It feels like caution. It feels like patience. It feels like responsibility. But in moments like this, those feelings can mask hesitation. And hesitation, when it replaces awareness, leads to misalignment. Archangel Michael is not telling you that you must act without thought. He is telling you that you must not allow hesitation to override what you already know, because you have already been given the awareness required for this moment. You have already sensed the importance of these hours. You have already felt the shift that is taking place. So if you choose to delay now, it is not because you lack clarity. It is because you are choosing not to act on it, and that choice carries consequences. Because while you are delaying, other things are moving. Opportunities are shifting positions. Decisions are being made by others. Outcomes are forming without your input. And when you finally step forward, you may find that the moment you were meant to meet has already passed its peak alignment. This is how cycles are extended. Not through failure, but through postponement. Not through inability, but through inaction at the critical point. And this is what Archangel Michael is trying to prevent. He is not warning you because something is being taken from you. He is warning you because something is available to you now that will not feel the same if you wait. This is why the urgency has been consistent. Not aggressive, not overwhelming, but persistent. Because the window is moving. The alignment is shifting. And the moment is not static. You must understand this clearly. You are not being pressured. You are being positioned. Positioned to recognize that now carries a weight that later does not. Positioned to see that the clarity you have in this moment is not accidental. Positioned to act before the alignment begins to disperse. Because once it does, you will not lose everything. But you will lose the simplicity of this moment, the directness of this path, ease of this alignment. And that is what makes this decision so important. Archangel Michael is not removing your freedom to choose. He is showing you the difference between choosing now and choosing later. One leads to alignment. The other leads to adjustment. One allows you to move with the moment. The other forces you to catch up to it. And while both paths can eventually lead forward, only one carries the clarity and precision that is available to you right now. So do not confuse delay with safety. Do not mistake hesitation for wisdom. Do not allow yourself to step out of a moment that was specifically aligned for you. Because this is not just another set of hours. This is a window. And windows do not remain open indefinitely. They open. They allow access. And then they close. Archangel Michael has already shown you what is happening. Now the decision is yours. Will you move while the window is open, or will you wait until you must find another way through? Type "I will not delay" in the comments if you are choosing to act now. Blessing code 9999 is now active over your timing and movement. There is something you must anchor into your spirit right now, especially as the weight of this moment becomes clearer. You are not navigating these hours alone. You are not exposed, unguarded, or left to figure this out by yourself. While there are forces moving, while there is pressure on your attention, while there is urgency surrounding your decisions, there is also protection. Active, intentional, unwavering protection that has already been assigned to you in this very moment. Archangel Michael is not only a messenger of warning, he is a guardian of alignment. And where he stands, there is order. Where he moves, there is covering. Where he speaks, there is defense established around what has been marked for purpose. And right now, he is revealing something that shifts your perspective entirely. While you have been focused on what you must do, heaven has already been moving to secure where you are. This is what you must understand. Protection does not always feel like comfort. Sometimes it feels like pressure. Sometimes it feels like restriction. Sometimes it feels like you are being slowed down or redirected without explanation. But what you interpret as delay may actually be defense. What you interpret as confusion may actually be shielding. Because when something significant is unfolding, protection does not always remove you from the moment. It surrounds you within it. This is exactly what is happening now. Archangel Michael shows that there are unseen boundaries being placed around your path. Boundaries that are preventing certain outcomes from reaching you. Boundaries that are redirecting influences that are not aligned with where you are meant to go. And while you may not see these movements directly, you have likely felt their effects. Moments where something did not go as planned. Situations where you were unexpectedly redirected. Conversations that did not happen the way you expected them to. These are not random disruptions. They are adjustments made on your behalf. Because protection is not always about stopping everything. It is about guiding what reaches you and what does not. And right now, that guidance is active. Archangel Michael is standing in a position where he is not only observing what is unfolding, he is intervening where necessary. Not to control your decisions, but to ensure that what is meant for you is not overtaken by what is not. This is why you must not allow fear to enter this moment. Because fear distorts your perception of what is happening. It makes you question what is actually working in your favor. It causes you to misinterpret protection as resistance. And when that happens, you begin to push against the very thing that is guiding you correctly. This is why trust becomes essential. Not blind trust, but grounded trust. The kind of trust that allows you to remain steady even when you do not fully understand every detail. Because while you are making decisions, heaven is managing what you cannot see. While you are focusing on your next step, protection is ensuring that step lands in the right place. While you are staying aware, something greater is maintaining the structure around your movement. This is the balance. You are responsible for your awareness. Heaven is responsible for your covering. And when both are aligned, you move forward with clarity and security at the same time. This is what Archangel Michael is reinforcing. You are not unguarded in this moment. You are positioned within protection. And that protection is not passive. It is active, responsive, and precise. It adjusts as you move. It strengthens as you align. It remains present as long as you remain aware. This is why your role is not to worry about everything that could go wrong. Your role is to stay aligned with what is going right. Because when you stay aligned, you stay within the covering that has already been established for you. And when you step out of awareness, you do not lose protection, but you may begin to move in ways that create unnecessary resistance. This is why Archangel Michael continues to guide you back to presence. Not because you are in danger, but because you are in a moment that requires clarity. And clarity keeps you within the path that has already been secured. So release the need to control everything. Release the urge to anticipate every possible outcome. Release the tension that comes from trying to understand what has not yet been revealed. Because you are already covered. You are already being guided. You are already positioned within a space where what is meant for you is being protected. Your only responsibility now is to remain aware enough to move with it. To trust that what is being adjusted for a reason. To recognize that what is being redirected is not being taken away, but being aligned more precisely. And to continue forward without allowing doubt to interfere with what has already been established in your favor. Archangel Michael is not only watching this moment. He is standing within it. And where he stands, there is order, protection, and clarity. So remain steady. Remain aware. Remain aligned. Because you are not just moving through these next few hours. You are being covered within them. Type "I am protected" in the comments if you receive this truth. Blessing code 1010 is now active over your protection and path. And now the moment has arrived where everything becomes clear, where the warnings, the awareness, the urgency, and the alignment all converge into something direct. This is no longer about understanding. This is no longer about sensing. This is about action. And Archangel Michael is not leaving this moment open to interpretation. He is giving you a final instruction, one that is simple in its form, but powerful in its impact. What you do in the next few hours must be intentional. You are not being asked to do everything. You are being asked to do the right things with full awareness. Because in moments like this, it is not the quantity of your actions that matters, it is the precision of them. It is how aligned they are with what you already know. It is whether they come from clarity or from distraction. And the distinction will determine whether you remain in the flow that has already been activated or drift into unnecessary resistance. The first instruction is stillness. Not inactivity, but stillness of mind. You must create space within yourself where your thoughts are not scattered, where your attention is not divided, where your awareness is not competing with noise. Because clarity does not enter a crowded mind. It enters a focused one. And right now, your ability to hear what needs to be recognized depends on how quiet you allow yourself to become internally. This is why you may feel the need to step back from certain distractions. Not permanently, but long enough to center yourself within this moment. Because if your attention is pulled in too many directions, you will not recognize what is forming in front of you. And recognition is everything right now. The second instruction is observation. You must begin to notice more than you normally would. The tone of conversations, the timing of interactions, the subtle shifts in your environment. Because what is unfolding is not always obvious, but it is always present. And when you observe without rushing to react, you begin to see patterns that would otherwise go unnoticed. This is how clarity deepens, not through forcing answers, but through allowing awareness to reveal them. The third is intention. When something becomes clear, when you feel that internal confirmation, that this is what requires your response, you must act without unnecessary delay. Not impulsively, but decisively. Because once clarity has been given, hesitation weakens its effectiveness. And in this moment, you cannot afford to weaken what has already been revealed to you. Archangel Michael is not asking for perfection in your actions. He is asking for alignment. He is asking you to move with what you know, not with what you fear. To respond to what is present, not to what might happen. And to trust that the clarity you are receiving is enough for the step you are taking. The fourth instruction is protection of your energy. This means being mindful of where you place your attention, who you engage with, and what you allow to influence your state of mind. Because not everything deserves your energy right now. Not every conversation needs your response. Not every thought needs your focus. And if you give your energy to everything, you will not have enough to remain aligned with what matters. So you must choose carefully. You must decide what stays within your awareness and what is allowed to pass without engagement. This is not avoidance. This is discipline. And it is necessary in a moment like this. Finally, the most important instruction is trust. Not blind trust, but grounded trust in what you have already been shown. Because at this point, you have been given awareness, clarity, and direction. You have felt the urgency. You have recognized the shift. You have seen the importance of these hours. So now, you must trust that what you are sensing is real, that what you are being guided toward is aligned, and that your role is to move with it, not question it into silence. Archangel Michael is not leaving you without guidance. He is placing you in a position where guidance is already within your awareness. But awareness only becomes effective when it is acted upon. This is why these next few hours matter. Not because something overwhelming is about to happen, but because something precise is already unfolding, and your role is to meet it with clarity, to remain still enough to hear, aware enough to see, and decisive enough to act. This is the final instruction. Not complicated, not overwhelming, but exact. And if you follow it, you will not need to search for confirmation, because what unfolds next will confirm everything you have already sensed. Archangel Michael has brought you to this point. Now, you must carry it forward. Type "I follow the instruction" in the comments if you are ready to act. Blessing code 1111 is now active over your actions and clarity. Now you have arrived at the edge of it. The moment where everything that has been spoken, everything that has been revealed, everything that has stirred within you begins to take form in your reality. This is not where the message ends. This is where the confirmation begins. Because Archangel Michael does not bring awareness without allowing you to witness the result of it. And what is about to unfold will not be abstract. It will be tangible. It will be recognizable. It will be undeniable. In the next few hours, something will happen. Not something random. Not something you can easily dismiss. But something that will make you pause. Something that will cause you to reflect back on this very moment and realize that what you heard was not just words. It was alignment speaking before manifestation. It may come through a conversation you did not expect. It may arrive through clarity you suddenly feel. It may reveal itself through a shift in someone's behavior, a message, an opportunity, or even a realization that settles into your spirit with unmistakable certainty. And when it happens, you will know. Because it will connect. It will align with what you have been sensing. It will confirm what you were being prepared for. This is how you will recognize it. Not through confusion, but through clarity. Not through chaos, but through precision. Because when something is aligned, it does not need to force itself into your awareness. It fits into it. Archangel Michael is revealing that what is about to unfold is not just an external event. It is an internal shift meeting an external confirmation. It is your awareness meeting your reality. It is everything that has been moving silently now becoming visible in a way that you cannot ignore. This is the moment where you will see the difference between being aware and being unaware. Because if you have remained present, if you have followed the instruction, if you have protected your attention and acted with clarity, this confirmation will not feel overwhelming. It will feel right. It will feel aligned. It will feel like stepping into something that was already prepared for you. But if you had chosen to delay, to ignore, to drift away from this moment, that same confirmation would still come, but it would feel different. It would feel distant, slightly out of reach, requiring more effort to engage with fully. This is why everything has led to this point. Not just to prepare you for what is coming, but to position you within it. Because the shift is not waiting for you to catch up. It is already arriving, and you are either aligned with it or observing it from a distance. Archangel Michael stands at this threshold, not as a distant figure, but as a presence that has guided you through every step of this moment. From the first awareness, to the recognition of time, to the understanding of the hidden movement, to the decision, to the alignment, to the action. You have been led here. And now, the final truth is this: you are ready. Not because everything is perfect, not because you have all the answers, but because you have remained aware, because you have chosen not to ignore what you felt, because you have stepped into a moment that many would have missed. This is what sets everything in motion. So as these next few hours unfold, do not look for something dramatic. Look for what aligns. Look for what confirms. Look for what settles into place with clarity instead of confusion, because that is where the shift will reveal itself. And when it does, do not question it. Do not hesitate. Do not step back into doubt. Move with it, because that movement will carry you into what comes next. This is not the end of something. This is the beginning of alignment becoming reality. Archangel Michael has spoken. The moment has arrived. And now, everything that follows will confirm that you were meant to hear this exactly when you did. Type "I receive the confirmation" in the comments if you are ready to witness the shift. Blessing code 1212 is now sealing this message over your life. As this confirmation begins to unfold in your life, understand this sacred truth. Every seed you release into this mission becomes a spark that ignites light in another soul standing on the edge of their own breakthrough. The word declares, "Cast your bread upon the waters, for you will find it after many days." And right now, your giving becomes a living current carrying God's voice further than you can imagine. I speak this as a personal response rising from within. I will not let this message stop with me. I will become a vessel that helps it reach the ones still waiting in darkness. What you sow today is not a donation. It is a divine act that opens rivers of clarity, healing, and awakening in lives you may never see, yet heaven records every impact. This moment is prophetic, and your action within it is obedience, not obligation. Do not hold back what your spirit is urging you to release, because delay even here can delay someone else's breakthrough. As you give through the PayPal link in the description or the QR code placed on your screen, know that heaven multiplies your seed and returns it with divine increase. Step forward now and release it.